Hi everyone, Ali here. Well, today I'm going to do some vintage tags and I'm going to use the Tim Holtz alteration tags. So I use these quite often to make my tags. Now I've got an old biscuit box here that I've gessoed over and I'm going to cut my tags out from this. I'm going to paint this tag with some Semco acrylic paint, antique white. So I've got some white tissue paper here that I've stamped with the KaiserCraft Script stamp that I'm going to use for my background on my tag. So I've got some Mod Podge here. Now I'll just cover the tag with some Mod Podge, making sure that I have plenty in the corners and on the edge. Got some Semco acrylic paint in brown and I'm going to add just a couple of drops of metallic silver paint to it, and this is by Semco also. This will give it just a bit of a metallic look about it. So I'm just going to dry brush this paint on now, which means I haven't got a lot of paint on my paintbrush, so I just want a light coating of this colour. So I've got some FolkArt metallic antique gold paint here and I'm going to add some circles onto this. So I've got some caps from an old glue stick and a spray bottle which I'm going to use. So I've got some Kmart paint here in satin and the colours are copper and satin colour. Now I'm going to dry brush this onto the tag, which means my brush is dry and I haven't added any water. So I'm just going to add the colour until I feel that I'm happy with it. So I've got the Tim Holtz vintage tags here. This is phrases 2 and I've got a couple of stamps here that I'm going to incorporate into this tag. Now I'm going to use some archival ink to stamp these on with. I also have a Hampton Art stamp set here and it's a graphic 45 and I'm going to use the border stamp here to incorporate onto my tag as well using archival ink. I do my sentiments also. So in the Tim Holtz phrases 2 I'm going to use this sentiment here. So firstly I'm going to use my Embossing Buddy and I'm going to stamp with my VersaMark onto this brown cardstock here. So I've got some Zing black embossing powder here and I'm going to heat set that with my heat tool. So I've cut my sentiment down and I'm just going to distress the edge of this just so it fits in with the vintage theme. I'm also going to use black soot distress ink just to go around the outside after I've distressed it. And I think that'll look pretty good on the tag. So I've got some vintage paper here which I've sprayed some Distress stain on it, which is walnut stain, and I've just splattered it with some water because distress stains actually react with water, so I want to give it that old vintage look. So just wiping it off and then heat setting it. This vintage paper, I'm going to rip it so there's a piece in the top corner and another piece down in the bottom corner. Now when I rip it, you see that there is some white showing, so I'm just going to get my black soot distress ink and I'm just going to cover up that white bit also on the edge. So I also have these little vintage labels which I'm going to incorporate, and also some washi vintage tape as well. I've got some old photos here which I'm going to distress the edges, and I'm going to mount this on some craft card. Now I'm going to distress the edge also before using some vintage photo on the outside. So I'm going to clean up my tag by cutting away all the excess around the edges. So I'm just going to go around the edge of the tag with some black soot distressed ink just to get rid of that white edge on the tag there. So I've got some vintage charms that will go nicely on here, and I'm going to attach them to some chain, and the chain will be attached to the tag using some brads, and this will hold it in place. This will give it an authentic feel to the tag also. I also want to bring some cotton into this tag as well, but I only have white. Now you can stain cotton by just using whatever you have, so distress ink, distress stain, and just rub it in a bit of water, heat set it with a heat tool, and there you have it. So I've just made my own vintage thread. So I'm just winding the cotton around 4 fingers, and then I'll place that on the tag underneath my sentiment. So I've mounted both the photo and the sentiment on foam tape. I'm going to thread some ribbon through the top of my tag here just to finish it off. So that's my tags finished for today. Now if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit that notification button for all my up and coming videos being released, and also give me your thumbs up. Now I'd love to hear your comments on my tags for today also. So until next time, happy crafting everybody, see ya!